Welcome back to the podcast. My name is Joseph Clough, and I hope you're doing wonderful today. Now, in this episode, we're going to be talking about knowledge. You see, most people think the quickest way to success is to acquire as much knowledge as possible, to truly understand exactly how everything works. Especially when it comes into the personal development aspect, there are a lot of therapies out there whose sole purpose is to discover absolutely everything inside out. How beliefs came to come into an existence, why this emotion exists within you, and the intentions, the purposes, everything when it comes to how things work. And what I'll be telling you right here, right now, is knowledge is good. Number one, knowledge is good. I love learning new things. But sometimes we can understand everything so logically, but unconsciously not make a shift. You can understand everything that you need to know, but if your unconscious mind is not getting it, or it's not provided an alternative. So let me talk about that. Your unconscious mind, which runs your issue, I can tell you that right now, because if you could change, if you could know everything and change, you would. Now, if you cannot, it must mean your unconscious mind is running the issue. So we can have all this conscious awareness, which is good. But if your unconscious mind does not have an alternative strategy, it will keep on doing the same thing it's always done because it's producing a level of results, or at the very least, the intention as to why it's doing what it's doing is trying to produce a positive outcome. Everything. If you suffer from things like imposter syndrome, then it's a form of protection mechanism. We're trying to protect ourselves in case we get found out. We're going to be worried about what people think. We're going to be concerned with fear, worries, and anxieties in case the worst case scenario actually happens and everything falls apart. Even when it comes to accelerating your career and business, if you're being held back subconsciously, unconsciously, it's doing it for a purpose. You may know everything about the issue, inside out. But if we don't give the unconscious mind the right system, the right steps, or a better solution, a better way of being safe, if it is an intention of safety, it will carry on doing what it's always doing. And to go a little bit deeper with that, sometimes it will not listen to you because more often than not, we dislike our issue, right? Makes sense. I'm not going to like imposter syndrome. When I had it, I definitely did not. But when I dislike it, I'm also disliking not just what it is or the outcome that it produces or the lack thereof. I'm also disliking the thing which runs it, which that means we're disliking the unconscious mind. So that part of us, our unconscious mind, which has been trying to do such a good job, and I say trying means usually failing, but it's trying to do a good job. But then when we hate it, when we know everything about the issue and we still cannot change, it must mean we are simply beginning to dislike the unconscious mind too. We dislike the behavior. I mean, think about it. Sometimes we can dislike a certain behavior of someone, right? Maybe in politics, maybe in work, maybe in the family, maybe in business. And sometimes because we dislike the behavior of that person, we automatically let go of all the other things that they do, all the good things they may do. Or we even forget to realize they're a real person with feelings. They're not robots. They're not being mean or bad or horrible. Usually they're not doing it on purpose. If we take a bully, for example, they usually have been bullied. It's a protective mechanism, so they're enforcing themselves to be able to take control of a situation. Doesn't make it good, doesn't make it right, but if we do dislike a behavior of someone, we can start to dislike the whole person. And therefore, we have that association. And that can be directly applied, as I said, to the unconscious mind. If you've got all this knowledge, yet you don't get the results, so therefore you resent and dislike that behavior you run, you're disliking also to a degree, or the unconscious mind's receiving it, you're disliking the thing which runs it, which is the unconscious mind. Now, the other thing about knowledge is really good. But when we think about knowledge and then compare it to wisdom, I like to think wisdom is applied knowledge. Okay, so what do I mean by that? I've met many, many people who know everything about everything, yet they're not being successful. I've met a lot of people who don't know much about everything, yet they apply so much action to the stuff that they do know that actually makes them successful. So, now we can understand knowledge is good, but without the application and the decision to make a change and do whatever it takes, it's just knowledge. It's intangible. It's not much use. It's just acquired in our mind, and we're not being better for it. Sometimes it can make us feel better, and that's another illusion, right? If I just know more about my mind, or I just know more of how to make money, if I find out the how, hopefully, if I get that knowledge and insight, hopefully my life will transform. But rarely does it ever transform. You have to apply what you know, okay? So we got knowledge, we got knowing, and then if we apply that into actions, in doing things each and every day and then refining it. You see, doing the same thing over and over again is the definition of madness. I believe Einstein may have said that. Because if we are doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results, but still getting the same old results, but still doing the same old thing, we're going to feel disillusioned. It's crazy. It's madness. So you've got to start applying and doing things, and therefore we can start to adjust, modify, adapt. That's growing with your knowledge. The application of what you know, little or a lot, but actually doing something about it, finally and completely. And usually the doing, if we break the doing down, the doing comes from a decision, a conscious awareness decision that you are sick and tired of the things that you do not like in your life. Not to be in no man's land that everything's okay and hopefully something will get better. No, that just hides the situation. That just buries things, and we never win like that. We must decide that we're willing to do whatever it takes. We're willing to do what must be done. Sometimes we're willing to do the things we've never done to get all the things we've always wanted, whether that be the undeniable, unconditional self-love, that absolute high self-esteem, that deep certainty, the unrockable confidence, the money, the wealth, the health, the relationship, the business, the career. We must be willing to do what has to be done. And with that, sometimes we have to decide to stop doing some things. Where is our energy? Where is our focus? Is it on what we don't want? Is it doing things which aren't yielding the results? Or is it going to be today that you decide something different? That you decide there is another way out there? That you're willing to learn with your knowledge, but now start to apply it consistently. You see, many people I've spoken to over the years, those who are successful, who became successes, and those who remain the same, were those who gave into the illusion that they need money to change. They need to invest in things. Now, for example, I have a program. Yes, you have to enroll on the program, invest in the program, and it will fast track you. Any issue, well, not any issue, because we only work with certain kind of issues, but like say imposter syndrome, we'll let it go in 8 weeks. I'm 100% certain, undeniable, absolute in every single way. We'll let it go in 8 weeks, no problems, and therefore we get the career progress, the business success, and all the personal development, professional development, very, very super quick and easy. Okay, we try to make it easy, simplistic, yet profound. But some people cannot afford. Some people are not willing. But you know what? Those who are successful who either apply for the program and get their result in 8 weeks, or number 2, do not do it, but they go just to town on the absolute success of application of their knowledge, whether it means doing it in a year or 2 or 5 years, they go ahead and do the work through time. They know that that's the only thing that they have, whether it's 30 minutes a day, an hour a day. They double down on what they do have time to the point where they get money or be resourceful to do what has to be done financially, or they just go all in, making those steps, making progress. But many people also have knowledge who do not succeed are the ones who do not do. They just don't utilize their time. And it's okay if you're not really wanting the goal. And I say that with absolute genuine heart, passion, purpose for you. Some people just don't want to change, and that's okay. It's not my job to change people. It's definitely not your job to change other people, right? You know that. We try to and want to, but we know we can't change everybody. But what you can do is you can change yourself. So those who are successful who had no finance, they doubled down on time. Those who had no finance and did not get the success just chose to remain the same. So we can know everything about everything about our issue consciously, inside out. But if you don't start doing, in other words, you don't start deciding as well, that first critical step of taking responsibility and deciding, I'm going to go all out on my purpose, my future, because I refuse to live my life the way I have been for the rest of my life. I refuse to feel bad in my job. I refuse to just be mediocre in my career or my business. I refuse to feel the imposter syndrome. I would hate to feel the fear for the rest of my life and look back in regret. When we get to that point of decision, that's when things change. They really do. But another thing I want you to get from that decision, and I might go deeper into it in another episode, but be prepared for resistance. Resistance from others in your life who will not necessarily understand or support you, and also the resistance within you, because your unconscious mind's been doing what it's always been doing for a very, very long time. So be prepared for that resistance. If you're going alone, be prepared and know that it's going to happen. Now, of course, if you get help through the system or someone else, then of course, obviously would support you through that because we make it simple. But if you are doing it with others or other people or other systems, or just by yourself, be prepared. Resistance will come, and it's okay. I like to think when the resistance is coming thick and strong, it's just telling me how badly do I really want this. And that's when I decide, yes, I badly want this. So through that decision, be aware of the resistance which may come, because old habits, strategies, people, environments might flare up, but that's when you remain strong, core to what has to be done. The other thing is just make sure you solve the cause and not the symptom. That is one thing I can never stress enough. Working on symptoms will always create and allow the core to develop more symptoms. Resolve the unconscious hidden core, and you will no longer experience those psychological, emotional symptoms ever again. because once you take out the core, they cannot exist. And then when you take out the core and create the deep self-certainty, the I am belief system, once you do that, you then reach out for resources of confidence, of drive, of action, of motivation, of love, and all those great things. So I hope that's been of value. What have we discussed? Number one, you can know so much about something about yourself, and it doesn't mean you will change. We must take applied action, or making the knowledge into wisdom, which is making it applicable. We do that by making decisions, deciding I am willing to do what I haven't done before to get what I've always wanted, because I do not want to live in regret. And then finally remember, you might come up with resistance from others, from environments, and even yourself. And it's okay. It is just telling you as a message, do you really want this enough? Are you really prepared to do it? And that's when you go, yes. It's the double decision. Decision to change and the decision to double down on that decision. Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed it. And once again, look, if you are experiencing imposter syndrome, if you are experiencing self-doubt, and you want to progress in your career or get fantastic double, triple results in your business or promotions very, very quickly by letting go of the imposter syndrome and the self-doubt and the uncertainty, all you got to do is go to josephclough.info/go, book a call with the team, and we'll get you clarity on exactly where you are, the unconscious clarity. And if we can serve you, we'll tell you. We'll say, look, these are the steps which you have to do to let go of the issue. And then you can say, yes, I'm all in on that. Now, of course, if we cannot serve you, we'll tell you. We're honest. We've got a 100% success record so far, so we're not going to jeopardize that by getting the wrong person in the program. So we'll definitely tell you that, look, you're not a good fit for us. But if you are, we will show you how. Once again, go to josephclough.info/go. But make decisions, not based just on knowledge and living in knowledge. Make a decision that will transform your life now and forevermore. And I'll speak to you on a future episode. Many thanks and goodbye.